Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my February 2019 horoscope report for you. Go to anniehelpsyou.com to check out my blog and all kinds of other goodies on my site, including enrollment for my astrology apprenticeship program if you'd love to learn astrology with me. Also, if you'd love to be a coach as your profession and bring your business online, my coach certification and online business training course is enrolling now. And I have launched my new publishing company, Luminous Life Publishing, Books and Beyond, and along with it, my new book, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days. So you can see more about this prayer book that is for all denominations at anniehelpsyou.com. So February is one of my most favorite months of the whole year of 2019 for so many things, for launches. Also, we've got 3 times the sweetness, 3 times as many sweet aspects this month. It is an amazing time to do anything important until around February 18th when we start shifting into Mercury retrograde shadow period. So I've got lots and lots of details about my favorite days to do important things, plus a massive amount of details specifically for you and your sign. So let's look at those details now. Hello Pisces friends. Okay, so let's check out the charts to see what's going on for you all in common and if there's anything different for you early, middle, and late degree placements. So the first thing we have to figure out, and I have finally, probably long overdue, created this little guide so that you can figure out if you are an early Pisces, a middle Pisces, or a late degree Pisces. So the birth dates or the degrees for rising or moon, whatever you're watching for, I will leave this up so that you can see where you fall into that and we don't have to give it more discussion. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what it is that we're looking at here. You know, when we're looking at a chart, it can be very easy to just want to run away screaming because it's really hard to tell what the heck is going on here, right? But when you start to understand that all of these things here, these glyphs, are planets or asteroids or something of note in the cosmos, but more importantly than that, they're archetypal energies. And so therefore, how I see them is that they have personalities. They're like people. Okay, so I see them as the energy of people. And they have a certain personality that brings certain things. Like if you were to be around that person, if they were to be in your presence, they bring certain things. So when the certain personality, we'll say Venus here, okay, which rules love, beauty, and money, is in a certain sign, Sagittarius, like she's been and will be at the beginning of the month. It's sort of like a footloose and fancy-free type of an energy. So, you know, fun, expansion, things having to do with love, beauty, and money. And this is for all early, middle, and late degree placements. And very early into the month, she's going to move into Capricorn, like the rest of these planets over here. Okay, so the mood for love, beauty, money turns more somber, turns more serious, turns more practical, you know, getting down to business. So there's this major energy of getting down to business, getting organized, doing something productive. It's kind of like an energy of, you know, in some ways the party's over now. It's time to work really hard, you know, and make up for some of the things that happen during the Sag transit. So I always like to look at the energy of Venus as the energy of my grandmother Marge. I don't know if any of you is lucky enough to have a completely Italian grandmother, but they can be very cool. And my grandma Marge was very cool. So Grandma Marge to me is like the energy of Venus. Okay, so let's just first of all see where Venus is for early, middle, and late, and then we'll talk about what she's like and what she's doing. So we can see in this instance, Grandma Marge is going to be in the 10th house for early, middle, and late degree placements for a while longer, so this will include you. You middle degree placements, you will have Venus and my grandmother in your 10th house. And your late degree placements, you will definitely for the month have her there. Okay, so we're talking about the energy of Venus enhancing the 10th house. And the 10th house has to do with your career, what you're doing out in the world for people who don't have careers or don't need to make money or don't, aren't in the workforce. It's what you're doing out in the world. It's your authority, connections with authority figures, your father figures, your relationships with father, things like that. Anything having to do with your work or projects that you're bringing out are all in this sector. So now let's talk about what Grandma Marge is like, and then we can combine the energies. Okay, so my grandmother, every time I'd see her, if you can just imagine, she always, for whatever reason, seemed shorter than me, even when I was a kid. So she would always run at me with her two hands up, just like this, like in a V, like running up towards me, and grab my face and kiss me on the mouth. Okay, so that's the love aspect of Venus. She would slip $5 in my pocket. There's the money aspect of Venus. And she would pop a meatball on a fork in my mouth. That's like the sustenance, the comfort energy of Venus, which is another aspect of it. So that energy of being well fed, of love, of blessings, of harmony, of money, wherever Venus goes, she increases that potential. It's like you're getting a smooch from my grandmother Marge in your sector of work, career, etc. So we love that. Now I'm going to get the question, I know it, so I'm just going to answer it right now. Annie, when people talk about sweetness coming in my work sector, they've been talking about it at other times, it doesn't happen. We can't have what we're not a vibrational match for. When we talk about astrological transits, everything you see here, all of this stuff, what this is they're potentials. They're not exacts. They're not definite in this infinite universe with every infinitely different person. We're going to experience things differently. And there are so many factors that are involved with how we experience a transit. But to simplify all of that, if you have blocks to feeling well-fed or being well-fed or harmony or money or advancements or acknowledgement or recognition, if you have blocks to that, it doesn't matter what Venus is doing. It doesn't matter because you're not a vibrational match for it. So the bigger question to ask in astrology, and this is what I'm always trying to get across, not everybody wants to hear this, not everybody cares, I'm still going to keep saying it. A more important thing to ask over what the stars are doing is, what have the stars brought me that have shown me my patterns so that I can know what has to shift within me to be a vibrational match for the things I want when these potentials increase again for me. Okay? So inner work is always my answer. You can, any kind of trauma clearing, basically owning, acknowledging that what we create is coming from inside of us. And it comes out, it goes out into the world in the form of our reflections, our experiences. It starts from us, you. Everything starts from you. So that's important to note, okay? So now with all that being said, let's talk about some things that are a little bit different about early, middle, and late degree charts. Okay, Venus is going to kiss those same places for y'all. When we want to look at the outer planets, this is where it really makes a difference for early, middle, and late degree placements, okay? So for instance, let's talk about Saturn. Saturn is here. Saturn has been very strongly here in the 11th house for 2018 and now into 2019 for you early placements, okay? You middle degree placements, you just recently, and some of you later middle, you still don't even have this yet, but you're feeling the whispers of it. But your earlier middle, you're just now, like at the beginning of 2019, having Saturn move into your 11th house. For you, this previous year, it's still been in the 10th. And you late degree placements, you can see that Saturn is very strongly still here in the 10th house. It's not affecting your 11th house yet. So that's why it makes, it's worth the time to help you figure out whether you're an early, middle, or late degree placement, because the charts in many cases can look very different. Okay, so let's talk about the archetype of Saturn. Saturn has to do with work. Saturn is the natural ruler of the 10th house. 10th house, Capricorn, Saturn, they all go together. And all of those energies have to do with father energy, sternness, organization, staying on track, discipline, diligence, hard work. Those are the stories of Saturn. But what they also represent is this great building process where you build something that can be, something lifelong. And so there's a spectrum of experience. So we've got the hard work and all those things I listed at one end. And then we've got the, actually, let's put it this way. Scratch that for a second. Okay, we've got the lower end of the vibrational potentials for Saturn, which is difficulty, challenge, heaviness, feeling crushed like a bug. And many people have come to see Saturn has that side. The other side of Saturn is accomplishment, fruition, getting somewhere, building something, stability. That's the spectrum. So those things, the taglines of Saturn, I'll put them right here in the middle as the transcendent point. This is what we're trying to balance. We're trying to mitigate these challenges, and we do it with what Saturn wants from us, which is hard work. So if you're persistent, if you're disciplined, if you're, keeping focused, you can turn the Saturnian potentials and the challenges that can come into fruition and stability and long-term gain and awesome manifestations, because Saturn actually brings into physical form. It's the bringer into physical form. So for you early degree placements, and now for your middle, it's starting, and coming later for you late degree placements, the heaviness, the difficulty, the challenges, the obstacles, but also the fruition, the gelling, the establishment has all been around the friendship sector. Friends, acquaintances, groups. Many people will have trouble with their friends in this time, usually because Saturn is maybe telling them to set more healthy boundaries, have more discernment in their friendships, check their surroundings for resonance to see if the person they are now is matching. Your friends may need you and you may show up for them. Your friends may need you and you may decide that it's wearing too much on you. Or you can start to establish major long-term groups, and this also has to do with online. So social media, groups online communities, just as it could have to do with in-person or geographic communities. So the establishment of the pressure on online communities, friendships, groups, large organizations, humanitarian efforts, anything internet-based. You could be trying to establish your internet presence. That's going to be, for many people, what's going on. But a lot of times hardships and heaviness will result in taking major action because Saturn wants that discipline. So you all, and some of you in the middle degree are still in the 10th house with this, and you late degree placements, you still have this in the 10th house. So this story that's recently shifting for some middle degree placements that's still going to be current for late degree is the story of Saturn in the 10th. And for many people, this can bring great accomplishment, acknowledgement, recognition for your work. It can also put pressure on what you're doing and make you decide you want to have a job change. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people be at the pinnacle of their career and be like, well, I'm going to go do basket weaving now or something else that feels better to them. And they are enjoying like a lifetime of work only at the same time to decide they actually want to do something else. Some people in this situation will actually bring, the other thing on the side and will stay doing what they're doing and then just do this other thing as well. Some people will end the old way completely and just bring the new one on and establish that energy as their new foundation. Use this Saturnian energy to establish things. Many people will stay within the same type of work, but they'll start to do it a different way, or they'll go under another division of their work. And this is really great energy to do that, but it does involve pressure. It does involve hard work, and it does involve discipline and consistency. And if you're not doing those things, Saturn will make it harder for you for sure, because it's trying to show you need to do that. So Those are the things that are most on my mind for Pisces this month. We've got, as I mentioned before, a month of absolute sweet aspects, 3 times the sweetness, as we do any kind of challenges that could come up. So I want to show you the dates to look out for. I'll tell you the exact transits that will be sweet and the days those will happen and the ones that you've got to look out for, and some other general energies of the month. So let's look at the general charts now. So the theme of the month for February 2019 for all signs is 3 times the sweetness. And that is because literally we have 3 times as many sweet aspects as we do challenging ones. In the beginning of January, we started these really nice open skies with the stars, the planets moving direct. But January was a little bit dicey in the way that we had 2 powerful eclipses. And for some people, those brought amazing positive changes. For others, very stressful changes. And some people were just holding space for others as they went through the changes. And some positive changes still could have carried some stress because of just the newness of them. Trying to get into a new rhythm or having it come all of a sudden can carry its own kind of stress, even if it's a very positive thing. So February is going to have a totally different energy. The open stars of having all the planets be direct is going to continue through February 18th. So we've got all that going on. And then, like I mentioned, we actually have a massive amount of sweet aspects. We do have a second supermoon that is at its 1st degree. So this whole energy of clean slate is continuing. And that's just a very, major theme for all of 2019, actually, that's being initiated here at the beginning. I'm going to give you a list of the days that have sweet aspects and a list of the days that have challenging ones, and then we'll go into some more details. But definitely remember to go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and sign up for my free email newsletter to receive a written version of these general transits delivered into your inbox a month early so that you have them visually for planning purposes. Okay, and if you are already on my email list and you're not getting my emails, then definitely check spam, social, events folders, and move them into your inbox to get your inbox the message that you want them there. Okay, so the sweet days are going to be, let's just make a little list over here. And so the sweet days, these happy ones, are going to be the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, 4th, 7th, 9th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 27th. Okay, the challenging ones, and as I give you these dates, remember that we often feel the energy of a transit before or after the actual transit, so don't hang your hat too heavily on the exact date. Just know that present and the days around these days are the transits. Okay, so the challenging ones, where we'll just kind of put a little guy having some difficulties there. Okay, so we have a challenging transit around the 1st, the 12th, the 14th, and the 22nd. And also in those days at the end of the month, there's, on March 1st, there is a challenging aspect, so you might feel some of that in the days at the end of the month. But in general, you can see a lot more sweetness there. And when you track this over time, you can really see a difference, like the mood of the month is very much directly affected by the amount of sweet aspects we have versus challenging ones. Okay, so let's just do a little summary of some of the major ones here, and then definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com to get a list of the rest and what you can experience with them. So on the 31st, I'm going to list the Saturn in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Pisces again. Okay, so let's see. Saturn there. Neptune there. Because as you can see, like here at the beginning of the month, they're only a degree apart. So that aspect, that beautiful 60-degree angle, it's one of the most favorable in astrology, is still going to be echoing out for many days, even a couple of weeks, the first couple of weeks of February. You'll be feeling the sweet vibes from this sweet lineup. Whenever planets that are outer planets get together in any configuration, they last longer than the ones that move more quickly. Okay, so you'll be feeling those sweet vibes. And in general, this is characterized by material gains coming from spiritual focus and pursuits, or artistic focus and pursuits. So kind of like a blending of the sides of the brain, a blending of the seen and unseen. Okay, so the next thing around that time, and this is one you really got to watch out for. Mars in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so we got Mars in Aries there, Pluto in Cap here. You can see they're at 21 degrees right from the beginning there, so they're matching. And that's a square. That's like a, no, we don't like that one as much. Now, it is true that challenging aspects can definitely spark something important, and for the seeker, we don't have to look negatively upon these challenging aspects, because they could sometimes give us the catalyst that we need to do something, or it could be a conflict that sparks a breakthrough. But as far as like your general safety, definitely be careful around those days, because it's just the kind of energy that could actually be dangerous. You don't want to antagonize a crazy person in the beginning of the month there. You want to be careful with your physical body. You want to guard your head, guard your bones. Okay, so now we start the sweetness spree. Venus and Uranus getting together on February 2nd. So we've got Venus here. We have Uranus here. Okay, so this is going to move into configuration with this. Venus rules love, beauty, money, self-esteem, design projects. Uranus is the great awakener, the great bringer of surprises. So in the days before and after the 2nd, sweet surprises are more likely. And of course, that's happening at the same time as that awkward, possibly dangerous aspect the day before. That's why I always say we have to remember, like, these are layers of a truth that are happening all at once. And if you're trying to plan a launch or doing something important, your personal experience is going to outweigh any date something is, quote, supposed to be good. You may feel the icky aspect earlier and then the nice one later. You just got to tune in. But if you know what's going on, it helps you to follow these things. And I see it happen all the time, that people who are sensitive, people who are empathic, people who are paying attention will tend to feel like, wow, something's up in the stars, And so you have your answers here as to what's going on. Another sweet aspect on the 3rd between Mercury and Jupiter. Where are the buddies? Okay, Mercury and Jupiter. I'm going to move into configuration there. So that is really great for anything important: communication, mobility, important connections, travel, could manifest in wonderful ways, having to make important purchases for devices or cars. I love this energy for that. Then we've got the new moon at 15 degrees of Aquarius on February 4th. So lots of sweet energy there. This new moon is also in a conjunction with Mercury and a beautiful aspect with Jupiter, which enhances it. Then the sun, on the 7th, the sun is in a beautiful aspect with Jupiter. So whenever anything is in a nice aspect with Jupiter, it's like benevolence, good luck, sweetness. So the sun will move there. And then, of course, these will be together as well. So that could bring important news, important connections. More sweetness and positive surprises on the 9th with Mercury and Uranus getting together. The 12th and 13th, this is one of those times to watch, because this is where Mars and Uranus get together in Aries. So both of those can be a little bit aggressive, can be a little bit jarring. Aries energy can be a little bit physically, could be dangerous. So just watch your body. And Aries rules the head. So, and again, just don't antagonize crazy people. If you're driving, it's not the time to make some sort of negative movement towards a driver that you don't like. And also things like not texting when you're walking, just paying extra attention in the days around the 12th and 13th, because tensions will be running higher. So I always say you can prepare for these kind of energies by trying to rest, get good sleep, be relaxed, so that when they come, you can kind of just navigate through them as a spiritual ninja. I always use the example with aspects like this, like if you're a grandparent and you have your grandkids coming to visit, you could either leave out all your white linens and all your white stuff, you know, only to have the kids destroy them, because that's just what kids do when they're playing, right? Or you can swap them out for the kid-friendly things and then have a rest-free time so that when the chaos and madness comes, that all the things that you want to remain safe are, and you don't have to stress about them. So that's what I always think about when there's an aspect like this. Like if you know some stress is coming and you just kind of like, you know, take your magnesium, take your B vitamins, you know, you just have your coherence plan situated, then it makes it much easier. Okay, so back to sunny skies and sweetness again with our little happy cloud there, with the 17th and 18th. We've got Venus in Capricorn making a beautiful aspect to Neptune in Pisces. And, okay, so let's show you where that is. Let me say there, Venus in Cap. Okay, so you can see here Venus is in Sag, but it is going to move into Capricorn by the 17th and 18th. And that's going to make a nice aspect with Neptune here. Dreamy, creative, spiritual breakthroughs, things like that. And then the Sun in Aquarius is going to come together with Uranus at this point in a beautiful way. Okay, so that's later in the month when this joins into a configuration with this. But again, the 17th, 18th, just sweetness. I love it for important things. Love, money, idealism, romance, art, creativity, expression of every kind, action, motivation, inspiration are just all enhanced beautifully at this time. And then the full moon, that second supermoon of the year. Supermoon is a moon that is actually closer to us. When you look at it, you're like, what? Why is the moon so big? It's because it's closer. And of course, it exerts more gravitational effects when it's closer. So it tends to be more intense, more emotional. So do prepare for an extra emotional full moon. But for the most part, there are sweet aspects with this full moon, with 0, almost 1 degrees of Virgo on the 19th. So lots of wonderful things coming to fulfillment, fruition. Could be some drama. Some people experience negative drama at the full moons, but there is a lot of sweetness at this particular full moon. Moving along to the 22nd, we've got a square. That's one of our challenging aspect days. We've got a square with Mercury and Jupiter. And where are you guys? Okay, so Mercury is going to come and Jupiter is going to be in a square. Of course, Mercury is not going to be here at this point. It's going to move over there, and that's where the square is going to happen. But, you know, communication, mobility, things like that, kind of getting a little pressure from Jupiter. Even when Jupiter has kind of like a challenging aspect, it tends to manifest in a softer way than the rest of the outer planets. So I usually list like just exhaustion for this one, like being overtired. And of course, if you're going because of all these sweet aspects and because you have this open window and because, you know, the Mercury retrograde shadow period is going to start on February 19th, which is true, then you could be tired because you're trying to fit a lot in. And really, it is important to note that I love, love, love this month up until about the 18th or 19th. So we'll just say February 1st through the 19th, or we'll even just say the beginning of January, but since we're in February, we'll talk about this through the 19th here, is some of my best favorite launch times in the whole year. You will have other opportunities, but in April, Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and it's always nice to have Jupiter direct when you do important things. And then, of course, you know, we don't have as many retrograde issues as we did last year, but it really is good to take advantage of this time. I know that I'm planning to just like run it really hard until around this point and then just start to roll in the backdrop again. Okay, so another sweet aspect on the 23rd. Oh, actually on the 22nd, there's one that could go either way. Venus gets together with Pluto. So Venus will make it over here to connect with Pluto. And that, Pluto's intensity, and Venus is love and money and self-esteem and things like that. So that could kind of go either way. Some intense news or an intense experience with love or money. Could be an ego battle, something like that. Another sweet aspect on the 23rd, another sweet aspect on the 27th, and then on March 1st, we've got that square with Venus and Uranus. It's going to come over. Of course, you can't see the square actually happening here now because Venus will have moved quite a bit, and that's when it will come into the square configuration, which is a challenge. So those days at the end of the month, there could be, love spats, money issues, things like that. But remember that when we're talking about aspects like with Venus, usually it blows over in a couple of days. So it's not always a big deal. It might feel kind of stressful at the time. So these are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits. Really sweet month full of awesome possibilities, amazing for launches moving forward, some of the best stars of the year for doing important things. So definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. You can check out my blog. You can check out my astrology apprenticeship program if you love how I teach astrology and you'd like to learn for your own personal or professional purposes. If you'd love to be a coach as your profession and bring your business online, I can teach you how to do that. You can check out my coach certification and online business course, also at anniehelpsyou.com. Definitely check out my new publishing company, Luminous Life Books and Beyond, along with my new book, Radical Prayer. Transform your life and the world in 28 days with these magical, powerful, super effective prayers and affirmations. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com along with all kinds of other goodies. If you'd love written horoscopes by me, you can check out my website, cozybysweetstarlight.com. At cozybysweetstarlight.com, I write written horoscopes, often with different information than I share in the reports. And I always put those up a month early as well. And I've got all kinds of other lifestyle blogs written by me and other up-and-coming bloggers. If you are a traveler, you can check out my website, astrologykissedtravelbliss.com, for astrology travel reports monthly. If you are going to travel, you can see what the stars are like for traveling. And I also have other blogs on there. And definitely check out my husband's website, iamhelios.com, iamhelios.com. He's always got new and different things on there, so you can check out his tarot offerings, and he also does astrology readings as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!